How you doing, guys? This is Eric from Wasteland.com. If you didn't know, once your YouTube channel, if you have one, gets to a certain size, you occasionally will get emails from someone who is trying to promote their product. Sometimes they're completely random stuff, everything from like baby monitors and everything, but most of the times I will get stuff for gear related to preparedness, camping, survival, stuff like that. Depends on if it looks interesting or not. I'll give it a shot. Recently, I got an email from people who had done, I think I'd covered some of their flashlights before, and it was fantastic because I was just in the market for a new headlamp, and that is what they offered to let me try out. So full disclosure, they did send this to me for free. I'm not being paid or otherwise reimbursed for doing the reviews. This is going to be my honest review of the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Thrunite th20 headlamp. Now, for those of you who have used headlamps before, you understand how useful these can be in any sort of, well, not even just disaster situation, but certainly camping and things like that. And I recently got to use this camping near Crater Lake in Oregon for a couple nights. And unfortunately, I didn't get any footage of that. I left my camera here. But it did function very well, and it has a couple advantages over a standard, headlamp that you might see by, cheaper headlamp that you might see by the checkout line at Lowe's or something like that, like this Energizer headlamp. And I was in the market for a higher quality one, and that's why I liked it. Because this is about 30 bucks, I think. Link is in the description where you can get this on Amazon. So it is probably about twice as much as one of these, but I'll tell you the differences. First of all, something like this has a fairly just crappy plastic body. It's made out of some kind of, I don't know if it's polystyrene or what, but it's very brittle type plastic, and I've damaged them before, even just trying to get the battery compartment off. Obviously, they work well. I don't like that you have to keep cycling through the modes with a button that you can't always find. This one has one button just on the side, and it's metal construction. It's not plastic. These are actually hinged to where for you to get an angle on your shot. They don't stay in place very well, especially if you're trying to hit the button on it. This one, the flashlight itself is one unibody construction. It doesn't move at all. It's the rubber holder that it can spin in. So while it's not quite as quick maybe to angle it, it stays in place a lot better. And they included in the box, where is it? I set it around here somewhere. They actually have an extra, here it is, of the rubber housing for the head strap as well. And you've used it simultaneously if you wanted, maybe like on a helmet or something, if you had another strap, and then just switch the light between that. So it's just, stretches around it. It's compatible with either a AA battery or the lithium-ion 14500 batteries. And the output's much better with the lithium-ion battery. It's about twice as good, from 250-ish lumens to 500. But I only used it with the AA battery, and it was perfectly fine and worked great. So having it be even more powerful would be fantastic, because typically you don't need a headlamp to be insanely bright. A lot of times in a survival situation, it might be a liability. You're going to be doing something right in front of your face most of the time, and you don't need this spotlight beam shooting out of your head. And one of the things I like about this is the low end setting is actually very low and supposedly can last for like 21 days. They call it infinity mode because it's like a third of a lumen. And it says it has, 14 days it says on the Firefly or infinity mode, which is pretty impressive. And that's constant, like 24 hours a day for 14 days. So if you're in a survival situation and you just want to see things at night, and you just want to be able to see what you're doing at night, maybe pick up some firewood, do something within your tent, something like that, you can just turn this on. No one will be able to see very far away. You'll be able to illuminate what you're doing and save battery usage and not give yourself away. So, if it can run for 14 days at 24 hours a day, if you're only using it 3 or 4 hours a day at that mode, it could last for a long time, giving you much better longevity on your batteries. You don't have to carry as many things like that. So for that reason, I think it's pretty good for preparedness reasons. And also I like that, like I mentioned, it's a much more robust construction. It's supposed to be able to drop it from, a meter, whatever, waterproof to 2 meters or 6 feet ish. So while I wouldn't recommend dunking it or going swimming with it, having it on your head in the rain, or if your bag gets wet or something, it's not going to destroy it. To whereas something like this that has a plastic construction like that, I just don't trust that. Those things they're fantastic for around the house and stuff like that, but in a true survival situation, bug out bag type setup, I would want something a little stronger like this. And that's pretty much it. Beyond that, there's nothing too fancy about it, which is pretty much what I was looking for. The only real feature that this doesn't have is the red light that something like this would have. But I never found myself using that too often. They say that the red light like that doesn't get rid of your night vision. How often that would come into play, that's up to you. On the infinity mode, it's probably not going to destroy your night vision too badly. Another thing and I'll show you some testing in the dark here, just on the wall behind me, to show you how the operation is that you hold, instead of clicking to trying to get to where you want to go, you just hold it down and it either slowly gets brighter or slowly gets less bright, and so you can stop at any point, and then it'll flash when it gets to either the brightest or the dimmest setting. So there isn't just like specific points that you have to click all the way through. So you get a lot more options in that sense of exactly how bright you want it to be, and it's much more intuitive. Like, how many am I clicking through, different settings, all this stuff. It's kind of a mess. Maybe that doesn't bother some people. It always bothered me to just click. I'd like to just be able to hold it. Okay, that's about how bright I need it. Let go, and then it'll come back on at that setting if you want, and then just hit it again. It'll either get brighter or dimmer, things like that. So I will show you that in a second, just in the room here, but I really like those features. So like I said, all in all, pretty much a standard headlamp with some features that I think puts it far beyond. So yes, it's more expensive, 30 bucks, but I think it's worth it. Worth 2 of these basic ones. And if you get the more robust batteries, it'll be much, much brighter than it is here. This is just showing you with a AA. So let me see if I can turn off some of these. Turn off my monitor. So this is just what the setting that I had it on, which I'm not sure exactly which one it is. I'll hold it. It's going to get brighter until it blinks. And this is apparently half as much output as you would get from the lithium-ion 14500 battery. And I mean, I don't know how well this is coming across in the camera, but this is bright enough to read by. I mean, you could have multiple people in this room reading right now if it's pointed correctly. The entire campsite would be lit up. I could see pretty far, so I don't have any eye strain or anything like that. And it's kind of a mix between a flood and a spotlight, which is about what you want for a headlamp like this. You don't want a super focused beam, but you don't want a way spread out floodlight too. I think it's pretty appropriate. And then, like saying, you just click it, it goes dim. And this is the, am I there yet? Okay, so it's going back. I don't know if I went all the way. So that's the brightest. And we'll go until it blinks. And this is where you can see in front of your hands. I don't know how well this shows up on the camera either, but perfectly fine. Like, I could read if I was in a tent, certainly doing things, hygiene at night, fire starting, even walking is plenty bright. And once your eyes adjust to the night too, not big enough for bigger duties or multiple people, but this lasting for days. This is what I would basically have my headlamp set on if I was in a survival situation. And certainly if you're in an enclosed area like a building like this, it's plenty bright enough to see around. And I think the advantages of it lasting so long would just be fantastic in a survival situation. And or just in a travel situation, That way you don't have to take as many batteries. Knowing, like, how long have I used this thing before you throw it in your bag, and knowing that, oh, well, even if it's nearing the end of the battery life, throwing one simple battery in there, 1 or 2, especially for the 14500 ones, would serve you for your entire camping trip. And that's fantastic. So let's get this brightness set up again and see how that just smoothly goes. Bam, that's full brightness. So this is what it looks like. So I definitely recommend it. I like it. Is it the best one out there? Probably not, but it's who knows, you know? I haven't tested every camera out there, and I don't see any reason to pay substantially more than this. So it's perfect for what I have been using it for. It's exactly really what I was looking for when I wanted to buy a new headlamp. And if you have other features that you need, maybe you'll have to get something different. But in terms of just the next level headlamp beyond something like this, it's great. I like it. So that's my official review of this. Let me know if you guys have had an experience with these or other headlamps and features that you think this is missing, or which things they're doing right. Post in the comments below. And like I said, the link is in the description to where you can just find this right on Amazon. And thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you later.